Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Snap Judgments. In this podcast, we will not be talking about feet pics. And if you don't know what we're talking about, then you should make sure that you are on Twitch to watch this live because you would have gotten quite the conversation immediately before. We are joined by Feet Connoisseur Extreme, the regular streamer 3 days in a row, Nick the Greek Geek. How you doing, Nick?
Good, tired, but otherwise very good. And very intrigued to know that apparently Tucker's feet size dwarf that of Michael Jordan and Stephen Curry. Or Stephen Curry, sorry.
Wow, Stephen Curry. Oh, that Stephen Curry has a very strange foot size.
Oh, God.
The noted sports fan
Yes.
Nick the Greek Geek coming in.
Hey,
next
I know
up.
Michael Jordan.
Good job. That's only 30 years ago. We are also joined, of course, by the Shaquille O'Neal of Marvel Snap. In more ways than one, if you know what I mean. Even I don't know what I mean. It's the Pirate King Tucker. Look, if you're going to be on once a month, I got to keep finding ways to introduce you. So,
no, that's good. It works. It is great to be here. I love doing this every single month, and we get to talk about cards, bounce ideas off each other, and more things. So, yeah, it's awesome to be here.
Yeah, we have 12 cards. If you are watching the video and you saw 14 on the previous slide, just please note, I am an English teacher. I cannot count. As I was scrolling through slides, I counted Merlin's spells, but Merlin has 3 spells, so I should have gotten it wrong by saying 15, not 14, if I was going to get it wrong in the first place. And then I also didn't count the extra spells that Clea or Ancient One make. So it's 12 new cards, and then some of those cards have sub-cards. But
if you're going to fail, you might as well fail extraordinarily, right?
That's what we do here at Snap Judgments, fail extraordinarily. Although you didn't fail extraordinarily at hitting Infinite on stream on the last day of the season. Nick, tell us where our wonderful friends could watch that.
You can go and find me on Twitch at Nick the Greek Geek. That's DA instead of THE because Twitch doesn't like me. And I'm streaming on I'm streaming on a semi-irregular basis. I was going to stream today, and then I remembered, wait a second, we have the podcast, so I'm not streaming today. But yeah, I was there. I did it I did not think it was going to happen. I almost gave up many times, and then I found the right deck, and it was not Thanos, so I was very happy about that.
Next, Tucker used to hit Infinite on the first day of every season, and then he opened a snap pack and pulled baby, and now it takes a few days. Tucker, where can people watch you hit Infinite slightly more slowly than they used to?
Yeah, I'm just taking my time now, hitting Infinite and then gradually easing my way up the ladder on twitch.tv/Tucker, TUCCRR, is where you can find the live content there. Arrgh.
Please go check out Tucker. Hey, can they only find you on Twitch? What if they want to watch you recorded so that they can rewind you and just catch that gloriousness over and over again?
If they actually want to watch some of that content on YouTube as well, I'm going to be posting even more deck guides every single week, as well as buy or bust every single Saturday or Sunday, depending on when they want to release the dev videos for the new seasons. That's where you can catch my opinion, as well as some really good, I'd say, takes on the new cards that are releasing even next week.
And Buy or Bust is also the name of his feet pick store. In the meantime, you could find us at Snap Judgments Pod on YouTube, where I release a video every day, but that's kind of a lie because I think I'm releasing something like 11 or 12 videos this week because I have apparently lost my ever-loving mind. If you would like more Marvel Snap content, they keep releasing so many cards, so I have to make more videos. So I've got a ton of videos this week. If you'd like to check them out, please do so on Snap Judgments Pod on YouTube. I also have a Twitch where I stream this podcast live, usually on Thursdays, but we love Tucker, so we do his day on Wednesdays, and then every other week it's on Thursdays. It is twitch.tv/PulseGlazer if you're interested, usually playing Marvel Snap, but sometimes doing other things now, which is, when they pay me money to do so. In the meantime, what do I care about? Oh, I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/snapjudgments. If you're interested, please do check it out. I like the Patreon. I post extra videos there when I can, and it's a really great place. Cool. Is there anything else I'm supposed to plug?
Probably, but we'll get to it again. Oh, wait, hold on. There's another thing that Tucker has that you did not promote. Tucker, would you like to talk about that?
Does Tucker know what that is?
With Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Oh, okay, got it. I know what it is now.
I don't. Do I have something?
Your podcast.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was confused for a second. Also, if you guys want, I do have a
He was still stuck
podcast
on his
with
feet pics.
Not My Dance that we do post every single Tuesday as well. If you guys want some OTA reactions, OTA predictions, as well as some of your own takes that we do feature weekly as well, definitely check that out, which will be on my YouTube channel, which also means you guys should check out Not My Dance. Not My Dance, NOTMYDANCE. Not My Dance.
Until he makes time to join us on one of these Wednesdays, you don't have to check him out.
Well,
He's got to get on it. I asked him, and he was like, "I'll do it," and then like it was like, "All right, well,
you know
never
what?
heard from him again."
I'll ask him for the next one, and we'll get him on.
Yeah. All right, so then you can go follow Not My Dance. That's fine. Follow Not My Dance. He has wonderful blue eyes that he loves to hide behind ugly glasses. That's my Not My Dance take.
Oh God.
All right, just the facts. Let us actually talk about Marvel Snap instead of my general bullshit, because I slept 2 hours and I'm semi-delirious. If you didn't get that from the opening of the show, we have Merlin, our season pass card. Merlin, and I mean, there are 4 of the cards of the 12 that we're going to talk about that we actually have some experience with. Merlin is the first of those, the season pass card. At the start of each turn, add a wizardly incantation into your hand. And I'm just going to run you through what those are, and then we'll talk about the card. So, Omniversal Presence is on reveal. Replace this location with a new one and give Merlin +2 power. Once in future is shuffle your lowest power other card here into your deck to get +2 energy next turn. And then Polymorph is transform your lowest power other card here into one that costs 1 more. Sorry, Tucker. Tell us about the Great Wizard.
This card is really solid. And something I was thinking about, like I had this, spoiler alert, as my card of the season, like before it released. And that was only thinking, you could get the incantations, one time, and kind of like it varies going forward and stuff. But like you can get the same incantation sometimes back-to-back rounds, which is really crazy. And since it doesn't have an honor, like Merlin himself isn't an on reveal, it is really cool to be able to play that behind some other locations or cards that, warrant on reveals not being able to work. But this card allows you to get in and out of a lot of different situations, which I really like. And when it comes to season pass cards, you want something that's really flexible. And this honestly is a card I can say is very flexible. You're seeing it probably more in the same style decks because that's just what everyone was testing so far, because it's been a day since this card came out. But I think this is a really solid card, and I think it seems like kind of fair. Of course, losing RNG at the end of the day kind of sucks, but like this, we're playing Marvel Snap, we have RNG in that sense anyways, but I feel like this is a pretty just not too busted kind of card. Like it doesn't feel like I'm always going to lose a game because my opponent played Merlin. It feels like there's still it's still like not too oppressive, or like it's not feeling oppressive kind of thing.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about it, it's the information disparity, because you don't know what card. Did they get a copy of another card? Because I thought, from my understanding, at least from the discussion that I had prior, we thought that they might be in order, but they seem random. And then the duplication of those cards is kind of also random. Like I had many times last night when I was playing that I would get the same card, and sometimes that's really, really good, especially if you've got the right board state. I think my biggest problem with this card is that he is very shy. He does not like showing up until like the end of the game. I think out of the couple hours that I played yesterday, either something happened to make him unplayable or he just didn't show up. But when he did and the spells work out, some of those spells are really, really powerful. But I think he's a good universal card. I think the only problem is sometimes it's like, is he the best card for the deck? Like the deck, I was playing the small ball deck last night that Buff Captain America did, and it worked really, really well, especially against the bots. But it's just like, would this card be better as something else is what I haven't figured out just yet.
I think he's generally great. Like, I don't know if he has deck building requirements, much like Kate Bishop sort of has deck building requirements. And the deck building requirements aren't exactly what you would think. They're that you need to run a sort of lower curve because you need to get some stuff out of your hand. Otherwise, he's going to eat a couple of your drawers. And like, even with a good curve, like even with a deck that has a good curve, sometimes you're just going to miss and you're going to play Merlin on 2 and you're like, shit. Now I'm just not seeing what I need to see. That's an annoying thing that can happen. Luckily, one of his spells sort of mitigates that a little bit. I get +2 energy and chuck them in the deck. You'll have a couple spells in hand at that point. You chuck them in the deck, and you're ultimately fine at the end of the day in that way. I think 2 of his 3 spells are kind of incredible. I think Polymorph kind of sucks. Like, I really don't like Polymorph. I like Double Polymorph. Double Polymorph ends up really good. Sometimes you get 2 Polymorphs and you can just be like, oh, my 4 is 6. And, like, that feels incredibly strong. But, like, a single Polymorph, because it's targeting the lowest power thing, doesn't usually do very much. It's really solid anti-clog, but outside of that, it's super mid. The other 2 are both incredible. I think he's really great. He's somewhere between Kate Bishop and Nico Minoru in terms of his power level. I think he's probably a little better than Kate, which is a really good place to be. Kate's excellent. I think he's probably a little worse than Nico overall in the grand scheme of things in terms of like how many decks he's really important to. But he also like enables things, right? Kahori with him is really, really good. We finally have a good Kahori deck because Merlin says my hand is most of the time going to turn Kahori into a 4/11. I'm happy to play a 4/11. He's really good with, as DeCarlo in chat notes, he's really good into Void, right? Like, you can turn your Void into a 5-drop, and yeah, that's gonna hit you something bad sometimes, but that Void was something bad in the first place, right? So you just run. That's what retreats are for in Snap. It can hit your Hood. It's very, very good with Hood because 2 of the 3 spells work amazingly with Hood. You're happy to turn the Hood into a 2-drop. You get, generally speaking, most 2s are 2/3s. That's +6 power for 1 energy, and you still have that demon. Or something I just stabbed myself. Or I don't know how I did, but I did. Or you can or you can chuck that demon into your deck and have 2 energy. That extra energy is then something you can use to play your demon. So overall, I think that he works with a ton of cards in really, really cool and interesting ways. He's not like ultimately super required for anything, I don't think, but I think he's good enough that you just want him in a lot of stuff.
You can also run into one tiny problem. See, if you were watching this live, you could see the clip that I just shared, but Intero got Prashant last night playing it, and it turned the card into a Cosmo, which killed the secondary card that he had played there and lost him the lane. And it was
that sounds like his fault for ordering improperly. That doesn't seem the card he's given me a Death's Domain, or where like has given my opponent a Death's Domain, where then all my cards got blown up there, and you're just sad, right?
I borrowed no name last night and lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. It's the randomness of the Reality Stone, Scarlet Witch, Cersei. Sometimes it's going to bite you in the butt, but then when it does, it can be really fun. Like that's the thing, is you can't even get mad at losses like that because you're just like, well, I mean, RNG just wasn't on my side today.
Yeah. Any further Merlin thoughts, or are we good to go?
I think we're good to go, but like this card.
One more Merlin question. It's very early. It's not as good as Sam Wilson.
No.
It's not as good as Iron Patriot was?
No.
Not yet.
You're right, but it's got the potential to get there. The month before that, it's not as good as Galacta. It's not as good as Surtur or Anti-Venom, right?
No.
Sorry, H-Venom, excuse me. Better than Agamotto.
Yes.
So I feel like it's important to note that this is a very powerful card that they're selling to us, but it's also, we got to talk about one more thing, but it's also a very powerful card that they're selling to us that's at an acceptable power level. This isn't like a card that I think is going to get nerfed in any real way anytime soon. Maybe one day, like if it gets too prominent, it could be a 2/2, but I don't see this really losing too much. I think it's a very, very powerful and interesting card.
Yeah, no, and I think something to note too is like Agamotto season, the first week we're like, Agamotto is absolutely amazing. All these spells, Winds of Tomb needs to be nerfed. Winds of Tomb is just the worst thing that we faced ever. And then Agamotto kind of just like fell under the radar for a while. But I think that's also like a cost thing too. I think the 2 cost cards that we've been getting at season pass cards or somewhere in that mid range have been some of the better season pass cards we've gotten, at least these past couple of seasons. So I think that's a really good starting point. And I think if they want to sell some of these cards going forward, making them kind of in that earlier stage to play in the game kind of helps out too.
Speaking of that, sell us things. The question I wanted to ask was, it seems like the premium season pass is going to come with a Series 4 card, where the only way to get that card for the month will be to buy. It'll be a Series 4 card, but you'll have to spend the extra $10. Tucker, how do you feel about that?
So I don't hate it in the sense it makes the premium season pass better. So spending the extra $10, because now it's like you get a variant and you get borders. My caveat is, though, if the premium card is also the same level as like the season pass card, in the sense of not maybe a must have or something that is just incredibly strong, that does make it a bit of a really big feels bad if all you have is to spend that $10, because you're still spending money on the game for getting the season pass card. Anyways, I'm glad it is a Series 4 card opposed to a Series 5 card. Granted, if you guys don't get the premium season pass, you'll more often than not probably be able to get this card 30 days later, so a month later. So it really just depends. And I do also like retroactively, you can upgrade later in the month if you wanted to be able to get that Series 4 card, which is nice. So I'm kind of still more pro towards, I like the idea because it adds value to the premium season pass, but I'm not like this is the best thing ever.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point of it being a Series 4 card. And the fact that you can upgrade, because with the premium season pass before, if you didn't do it, you were in a situation to where you didn't get the benefits. But with them adding stuff like the season pass card to it, I think that's really, really good. I'm really excited about that part of it. That yes, you can still get it. You just have to wait a little bit of time. It's similar to, I guess, the season pass card, but it's also one that may just be it's a nice card to have, but I don't need it. Like most of the Series 4 cards that they've given us in the last little while, I don't think any have been like, I need to run this in every single deck. They've been fun or interesting, but not absolutely vital.
I worry that down the line, I don't think Fantastic Car is the first card they seem to be doing this with, but I worry that they're going to try and make that card too synergistic, and I don't want people to be forced to buy it.
Yeah.
If they avoid that trap, I'm for it. If they can't avoid that trap, then I'm going to speak out against it. But for the time being, I think that this is a good idea. I honestly wish the Premium Season Pass was a variant of an old card, an old Series 5 card, an old Series 4 card. I think that would be better for the community. This way, if you don't have the card, you can buy it that way. And if you do have the card, you know what I mean? As like a little catch-up mechanic, instead of a way to sort of leave the free-to-play players even further behind. But I generally think that most of the people who are engaged enough to complain about this game online, spend hours a day on it. And if you're going to spend 20 hours a week on a game, then I don't think expecting the occasional $10-$20 is out of line.
I kind of wish, I know this is like a huge change, but I kind of wish like maybe like the premium season pass would be for gold. Like I wonder, like I know that would change like the economy and stuff of that too, but I wonder if like there's a world where they can change season passes to be gold, because then you can earn some of that currency as well to be able to get that other card kind of thing. Like that's like looking at Rivals for like a second. Like they have gold and then they have Lattice, and like you can earn gold in your season pass, and you can also convert Lattice into gold to be able to get the season pass, so you don't have to spend money. So it'd be just interesting if it comes to it and people start complaining more and more, they have some of these premiums maybe cost gold instead.
That'd be really nice. I think that they're in such a state of transition that everything they do right now is an experiment ultimately.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't shock me if they had the Series 4 card in there for 2 months, and if the feedback was negative or if they weren't generating the profit they wanted, I could just see it going away and being something else that they try. I like that they recognize that the premium season pass isn't working as is right now, because I bought it this month because I was in the car with Noah and he was talking, and we were in front of my building. I wasn't driving, but I pressed the wrong button. I was like, why the fuck did I? Oh man. So yeah, they got an extra $10 out of me like a sucker. But yeah, overall, I think generally, at least tentatively, a plus. All right. Let us move on through Merlin's lovely spells, to Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay is a 4/7. On reveal, return all your discarded and destroyed cards to your hand with +3 power. Tuck?
I haven't done any testing with this card, and I think I've only faced it once during my playtime so far. I think this card is really interesting for what it does, but I think it's kind of like it's a little too expensive. I think like it being a like 4 cost is just one of those cards like feels like it feels bad sometimes, and like this, you get the cards back to your hand, but then you also, if if you want to get like value in my sense, like you have to play out these cards as well to be able to kind of profit there. I've seen the Black Swan list, which is really interesting that people are running something like that to be able to like play these cards out. But I mean, if I've saw data mines for a card that kind of does what this does, but a little bit better, and it's different. But I don't know. This card just feels like the worst card of the week. Not like the worst card I've ever seen. It just feels like it's the worst card to release this week.
I think we're going to disagree because I hate Nicholas Scratch. But Nick.
So similar to Tucker, I didn't end up playing any decks with Morgan in there, but I did face Gregor last night, and he was playing his Morgan deck, and it put out a lot of power. I beat him, but it put out a lot of power and was very interesting. I think this is a card that, unfortunately, I think is a little clunky at a 4/7 as far as just timing it and then being able to play those cards. But that +3 power is an insane amount. And also, I'm sure there's some weird thing that we just haven't figured out. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen a ton with her, but I think she goes, because where does she fit? At this point, I don't know where she really fits.
Yeah, she makes her own decks. I just don't think those decks are great. The problem is she's a combo card, right? So when her combo goes off, it needs to win the game. And when her combo goes off, it doesn't win the game because it's +3 power to a bunch of cards, and that's like a good amount, right? But like you had to spend a bunch of time doing sort of nothing earlier, so you don't always have enough power to win. It'll go over the top of a Merlin deck, right? Like if you have the right Morgan deck and you draw Morgan and do that properly, you're gonna go well over the power of those Morgan decks. Those Merlin decks, too many M names, those Merlin decks without too much trouble. But like then you run up into like an actual combo deck, a deck that's playing Iron Man, a deck that's running ongoing cards, and all of a sudden all of your cool like cute ideas fall apart. And she probably has to be a 3 cost to be any good. I don't know if Discard Surfer would be a thing. Bullseye's already a 3, Dawkins already a 3, and I don't know if they want that. Yeah, right. Like Cougar would like quit his job and just be like, I'm Marvel Snap now, and I don't care. They gave me my favorite thing. But outside of that, I don't know if there's anything worth doing here that can't be done better. Like, he's good in bounce decks, but I don't think he's better. Sorry, she's good in bounce decks, but I don't think she's better in bounce decks than regular bounce decks, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I can run Merlin and Werewolf, or I can run Morgan, I think I'd rather just run Merlin and Werewolf. Like, if I can run Monkey and Mysterio, I'd rather run that than Morgan. And yes, you can try and combo them, but I don't think that's necessarily really worth it. I don't know. This one is thus far a miss. It's not bad, right? Like, we've gotten some bad cards. It's not bad, but it's not. Like, if you want me to build new shit, I need to be excited.
But this week, it's bad. That's the thing. It's like just in reference to some of the other cards this week, it just doesn't feel like it sticks the landing.
All right. Enough of that poopy, because that wasn't. No one likes that card. Hey, first off, I just want to say, how fucking dare Second Dinner name a card Nicholas? Don't they know that Marvel Snap already has a preeminent Nicholas in the community? Is your name Nicholas, sir?
Well, yes, it is. And what can I say? They didn't communicate with me. They didn't ask me. And they didn't get my approval.
They fucked up your beard really badly. Like, they have that white stuff coming off his beard, and that's just like your skin. It's very confusing. Very confusing, and I'm very disappointed in their decisions for this card. All right,
we have a very loopy Glazer today.
Tucker,
so
I hate this card. Tell us why I shouldn't hate this card.
So, like, I understand you hating this card this week. I think this is one of those cards that's going to age better when Clea comes out later this month. I think that's when this card really gets the extra value or the extra oomph from the skills itself. I think one of the reasons you probably hate this card is because you draw it late, so you don't have this on curve to be able to get the value from the skills onto this card. But like at the same time, like this goes to like a 1/5. You're like, okay, cool. You know, I made use of these skills that just banished. You know, they added value, of course, to my board state, or maybe they didn't. But I think right now he's a okay card. I don't think he's anything crazy at the moment, but I do think later on this season he's going to get better. Whereas like with Morgan Le Fay, I don't think there's cards necessarily, unless maybe it is Kid Omega later this season helps Morgan Le Fay in some sense, that she's going to progressively get better. Whereas this card's going to age, you know, a little bit better and I think feel better going forward this season.
It's another one of those cards that I don't think a lot of people have seen because I don't know. I agree because all you've really got is Merlin and Agamotto to work with him right now. And I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that is enough to do anything. And I hope he does age well. I hope he does come out as a card that is usable. But, you know, with him not being an ongoing.
Nick, one sec. Hey,
yep.
Thanks to Just a Bot in chat. For anyone who is watching this live, 2 cards just dropped in the game. Feel free to go get them.
Oh. Alrighty then.
We'll talk about those cards momentarily. But nope, something went wrong. Try again. But my Seasonal Series 4 is opening. But I can now buy Seasonal Series 4, and I have new cards active.
Oh, look at that. So, and I can play. So Hellion and oh shit, what's the other one?
Mercury.
Mercury, thank you. Are both usable in game.
Yeah. So all right, let's go back to Nicholas Scratch. Sorry about that. I figured the live chat would appreciate that PSA that was accurate. All right, Nick, any further Nick thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I think if he's set like collector, so he's text based. I don't know if he'd be ongoing and maybe a little bit more expensive would make him more worthwhile because right now he's just a target. Like there's a target on his back. He's a 1 cost. Like Killmonger is still out there and then he's just gone. And if he's not on the board, he doesn't get that benefit. So I think that's the hard part with him at this point.
Ongoing skills per game is what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he could get +2 and have a limit of once per turn. Right? Like they just released Batrock. Like that. That's what really kills me about this card. This card has 2 cards in all of Marvel Snap, and we'll have 4.
Yeah.
Right by the end of the season, that trigger him, and none coming next season that I can think of, or the season after that I can think of. So he's gonna have 4 cards for the next 3 months of his existence. Like,
well, wait, does Fantastic Car count as a skill? Because I know there's a couple that are coming in the Fantastic Four season that are skills.
Fantastic Car is not a skill. No, there's none.
No, okay.
It can be like more like Nico kind of stuff, I think, with those cards.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, none of they're all end of turn things, and I don't believe any of them are skills. I could be wrong, but they
really need to stop doing that.
Skills. So I truly like if you're gonna release him this week, you can always release him as +2 while there's only 4 skill grading cards in the game, and then you can say, all right, now we have a critical mass of skills. Now he'll be +1. That's a perfectly fine thing to do when it's like 3 to 5 months that he's gonna be really utterly useless, and I really am disappointed in this design decision. Also, when he's finally good, I'm looking forward to making a deck called Nicky and Scratchy, so that's going to be very, very fun. But outside of that, like, I think he's going to suck basically until we get something that makes like 1 million skills, like when you can do like skill dump and you can make him like a 1/8. But even then, like, unless, like, those skills all have to be 1 or free. Because if they release skills that cost more than 1, then I want Quinjet more than him. I want Zabu more than him. I just want other cards more than him, even in that 1 cost spot. And I have to draw him and play him early, otherwise he's poopy. Like, what are we doing here? This is such a weird series of design decisions.
That's why they had Sinister London as the hot location, so you could have 2 Merlins on the board, so then you can get the Nicholas Scratch value. But no, I think that's like a great thing to note too, is like they could change this card soon. Like if they wanted to, they could, and I think that's what goes hand in hand with snap packs.
It freezes right here. I cannot buy these fucking cards. Just for the record, I've been restarting my game because I want new cards. There's cards of Marvel Snap that I don't own, and it bothers me. And it's freezing at the I can buy. Sorry about that. Continue talking.
No, you're good. But like with snap packs, like I think that's like one of the cool features they can do down the line is they can actually, update these cards, buff them or nerf them while they're in snap packs, and it's less of a feels bad because it's not like I missed a spotlight week for this card. So I think that's something that's good going forward, that hopefully maybe that's something they could do with Nicholas Scratch.
I can look at that.
I think that's it. I don't think there's much more to say about him.
All right. Sorry, I went to the creator program while we were chatting to go try and tell the devs about the problem, but it seems like someone beat me to it, so we can just move right along. I'm not in streamer mode.
Multitasking is so great on a 2-hour sleep as well.
Yeah, well, let me go into proper streamer mode. Apparently, it usually automatically goes as soon as I open whatchamacallit. But We are back. Sorry about that, everybody. It usually goes on. My bad. It usually goes straight into stream mode as soon as I start my OBS, and apparently it decided not to. My bad. I don't know why that happened, but I blame Nick.
It's my fault. Yeah, 100%. I'm your tech guy. I'm the
what the
scapegoat.
Hell? Apparently, I messed up the order here too. This is what happens when I do things loopy. We're gonna skip. We'll come back to Jennifer Kale. No one's got a lot to say about Jennifer Kale anyway, right? She good when you need rep. She good when you need rep. All right, Hellion is a 5/8 on Series 4. This is the card that is pseudo coming out right now. On reveal next turn, you can move cards to this location. Go off, King.
5/8. Good stats, but this style of deck, I wonder, like, is this another just Red Wing card? Like, I wonder if this is going to be another some Red Wing value. Like, I don't have anything built just for this card just yet. I think I like the stats of it at a 5/8. I like that it only works for you. But I'm just interested to see how this plugs and chugs and what it plugs and chugs into, because I don't think you're necessarily ramping out for this. But it can help you kind of dodge Shang-Chi and stuff potentially on certain cards, or help you with combo pieces. But it's got cool variants out of mind. I know that.
Yeah, I like the fact that it is a cloak for your own side. I think that provides some really interesting gameplay. I think it's hilarious that he's releasing at the same time as another card that we're talking about that is basically potentially a very big counter for the decks that he would go into, which I think is fair. I don't know if I mean, obviously he just released, so no one has really played much of him, but I've seen some people put out some decks that didn't update, and I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how he works. He can allow you to either move or not move. And again, it's that information disparity. Are you going to move the card? Are you going to move the card that they think you're going to move? Or do you not? It's up in the air. I almost wonder, would this be too powerful as an activate?
I think it was.
It couldn't be a 5.
Yeah.
So you'd have to change the cost. I think this is going to end up one of the best cards in the game. Like, I know that's a hot take, but I don't think it's move decks either that make it so good. I think it's just going to be a general good stuff card. 5/8 is a lot. It's really good stats. It's Cannonball, right? It's one more than Legion. I think those are the cards I'm comparing them to, Cannonball and Legion.
Old Legion was 5/8.
Yeah, true. Like, I could see Hellion going to 5/7 once everyone realizes how good he is. So a lot of what happens in Marvel Snap is you start playing in a lane, right? You play like 8-10 power in a lane, and your opponent plays like 25 in that lane. And you're like, fuck. So that 8-10 power is now completely dead to you. You might as well not have played those cards. They do nothing, because unless their game comes down to tiebreakers, but you get the idea. You've fundamentally killed those cards at that point, right? They might as well not exist. If they were gambited off outside of their ability already happening, what has happened has happened. They're just fundamentally gone for you. What Hellion does is say that power now exists where I need it to be. So, like, it doesn't even have to be a mind game. It's just, I've got 10 power here, and that 10 power is not going to matter. I cannot go over the top of you in this lane. Even Shang-Chi is not quite enough, whatever. I now play Hellion on turn 5. That 10 power goes to another lane. Now I have an 18 power lane out of nowhere. I have 0 in that other lane, but I don't care anymore, and I hopefully have another lane I'm competing in. It lets you reposition. You only need to win two lanes to win a game of Marvel Snap, and it lets you reposition out of a lane that's already lost to a lane that you could potentially win. And a lot of those lanes are won by 1 and 2 points, and I think Hellion will be a master at doing that.
I think that's a great shout. And I think when you look at turn 5 cards too, those are cards here. I'm playing this out to help my end game. And I think like something like a Crimson Cosmos, you're playing Hellion over there, so you can move some of your lower cost cards over there to potentially like win lanes and stuff. So I think that's a really great shout. And I'm even thinking like potentially maybe like you're probably not doing this, but like you Aranya this card too. Like you can have that lane open for stuff to happen. Like I think there's a lot of opportunities for it. But like I was saying, Isaac, I don't know what I'm building for this card just yet, because I was not expecting these cards to release this season, so I wasn't prepping for it at all.
So Scream decks have been less and less Scream decks and more Sam Craven Batrock decks, and those decks just love this, right? Like, because those decks
Yep.
are prone to clogging themselves. Like, that spot that Arrow is sometimes in, like, because Scream is so much less important, you're often not playing Scream even until turn 4, and you have still your other move cards. You play Hellion in that Arrow spot, and all of a sudden you're just like, all right, I'm going to move Craven and all these cards there, and then I can sit, like, Craven's now like 15 freaking power, right?
Hydra
So you've
Stomper
got-
value. Like,
Yeah, Hydra Stomper gets this great value, and then your last turn, like, you just dropped like a Stomper and a Juggernaut, and you just won, or a Cannonball, and you just win, right? Like, your opponent, there's no real play around that except for the next card. I think that this is going to be absolutely incredible. I genuinely and truly believe this is going to be one of the better cards in the game. I think people are going to sleep on it, and the second they try it, they're going to realize that, like, Cloak lets your opponent do it too, so Cloak is New York, right? I can New York and you can't is incredibly strong.
The question is, does this bring back some level of Galactus? Because we remember the days of Cloak Galactus. Is this something for that? Like a final turn, or is it just too obvious?
I mean, you can Galactus after it, but like you're still gonna need more than 5 power. So it should be
I'm
fairly
thinking
obvious.
like Nimrod, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, because I think Nimrod is too good with the card we're going to talk about later.
I think this is good for some like even like Hope Kitty stuff potentially too.
Yeah,
because we've all had those lanes where we filled it up a bit too much, and you're like, I wish I had one more spot to buff up something, Angela or whatever. This gives you that final turn to be able to potentially do that. And again, they don't know. Are you going to move cards from there? Maybe.
I mean, even if it's obvious that you're going to, they can't do anything about it, right? Like, once it's happened, it's happened. Even if they want to move their whatchamacallit, it's too late.
Yeah.
Their Mercury. It's too late to move Mercury by the time the effect happens, right? Like, because you obviously played it where you thought you could play it in the Mercury lane, and then what are they going to do? Move Mercury to Mercury? Like, it doesn't. They move it, but your move's already happened. Like, this is very, very hard to stop. Even if it's completely obvious, I'm not sure what opponents can do about it. Like,
I think
it's cannonball in that way, right? Where like you look at the board, you go, they're gonna cannonball and kill me, and like it's gonna freaking happen, right? But like, what do you do to stop it? It's just they got it. They got it card.
I think the only hesitation that I have with this is it's very obvious. Like, if you have move cards on the board and it could, because those happen before cards reveal. If you are moving a card over that's going to get a big buff, they can play Shang-Chi there, even if they have priority and it can kill that card. But again, I mean, the same thing with like New York and things of that sort. And I think enough people have struggles with New York as far as, did they move a card there? Are they going to move a card there? What if they do? What if they don't? Maybe it's enough.
I mean, you could also Shang as a 4/3, and this is a 5/8. So you can choose not to move that extra big thing there, right? Like if you know they're a Shang deck, and then that's just extra cubes.
Yeah. No, like I'm thinking Storm, I'm thinking Kiln, I'm thinking just areas you're not able to normally get cards in, or like I don't have the thing to do right now this turn. Like you're saying, Glazer, like I move my cards over here to win these lanes. I think that's gonna be really cool, like to do with this card.
Yeah, I think that there's at least an argument that the non-spotlight cards are the best cards this month. Hellion, Mercury, and then we'll talk about the other one later. So let's talk about Mercury now, though. Mercury is a tutu, as in she's wearing a lovely little tutu. She's not actually. I wish she was. All right, just because she's a tutu, and then I can make that terrible pun all the time. You can move this once. Ongoing enemy cards here can't move. Go off.
So like Cannonball just loves this card. Like immediately it's a buff for Cannonball. It's really cool if you're facing a move deck. This is really good to be able to offset their combos. But I think this is just a good new tech card to be able to have in the game, because we didn't really have anything that could just like stop moves, because Professor X allows moves now. So I think it's got really cool potential and a nice tech piece.
Yeah, interesting card. I love the fact that I didn't actually read this because I grabbed it and then I was like, oh, I can't make a deck with it. All right, well, I guess I'll update and whatever. But the fact that you can move this once is very interesting and can be very... I think there's something there with that ability to be able to move it and block that other player from moving their cards. I'm interested in there finally being a really good tech piece, because there wasn't anything for move. Like you said, Professor X is dead. But I mean, she's basically that, except you can add with Jubilee, I'm assuming. Like everything else there you can't do, but nothing will cause it to move. So it turns every card into Colossus, basically. Or no, yeah, Colossus.
So Jean Grey with this is a lot more frustrating than it seems. Like a lot of the way people handle Jean Grey lanes is being able to play and move out, play little things and move. And once you're stuck there, that's a lot less likely. Like Kitty Pryde has fundamentally disappeared now that Merlin exists, and maybe Merlin makes it so it's less of a problem. But I could easily see that being a problem. I think Jean Grey really likes this. Obviously, like I think if you're running Cannonball and you can find space for Mercury, you just put Mercury in the deck. Because like there's just not a downside at that point, right? Like you occasionally get this really great tech piece that turns Cannonball to destroy the highest power card wherever the fuck I want to. Right? Like I just think this card is going to be incredible. I could easily see this becoming very frustrating and needing to lose a power. Not because of move decks, but because I think that there's probably something very toxic out there with Cannonball, Jean Grey style decks that would not be fun to play around. Making matters worse is that they're going to buff Supergiant, and I could easily see that kind of deck running a Supergiant as well. Because remember, this is movable, right? So like it's even really good there for making sure you have priority or don't have priority, as the case may be, for what you want to do. I think overall that this card is going to be borderline problematic, and I hope I'm wrong. Or people are not going to play it enough to realize that it could be borderline problematic. But people love this kind of toxic stuff, so I fully expect it to be played an awful lot. I think that Hellion, this, and one other card are probably the best of the month. Well, I guess there's one Spotlight card that's kind of insane, but whatever. No further Mercury thoughts?
Chilling.
Yep.
All right. Kale. Let's make Mr. ELA happy. Jennifer Kale is a 2/2. Also not wearing a 2/2. They're bad at this. Activate. Next turn you get +1 energy. Go ahead.
She's felt nice. I need extra energy this turn, so I have activated her, and I have extra energy this turn. I can do this without having to play Luna Snow, or I don't have Psylocke in my hand, so I have Jennifer Kale instead. And I think, or even like later turn, I need to have 7 energy here, so I activate, Kale. So I think she's pretty good. Nothing crazy.
I think her effect is good, but what do you take out to put her in the deck? It's nice that it's an activate, so you get to choose when you have that happen, but I don't know. It's decent for a Series 4 card. I think it's a very reasonable stat for a Series 4 card.
She's fine, right? Like she's a Series 4 card, but she's totally a Series 2 card that they're selling in Series 4, right? Like if Activate existed when they created the earlier series, this would have been a starter or a Series 2 card. And it's perfectly fine as being such. Like I think it's going to be pretty solid when Infinity Ultron gets buffed in a day, and we want to get Infinity Ultron out on 4. When we want to play Sarah on 4, like she's our sort of our backup plan to Luna, a perfectly acceptable one. Like you don't want to play Psylocke on turn 3. You fall so far behind playing Psylocke on turn 3. If you're trying to rep into Galacta, you run Psylocke, right? If Doom 2099 comes out again, or they buff Doom 2099, then we're going to want really want Galacta. But if we're trying to ramp into 5s and they are trying to make more good 5s, then Kale is suddenly really, really strong. And I think she's got way more use than people would assume.
And I think that's exactly where it is. I think we're in a place right now where we're trying to get 5s out early, which is why we're playing Luna Snow. And like some people are playing Wave if they don't have Luna Snow. Like I think that's a great option. I mean, like with Electro, you play Electro to potentially play a 5 out, but like the downside about this is you can't activate at the same turn. So I feel like until they do something with Electro, which I said thing, I was like, they make Electro a 2 cost. I don't know exactly what his stat line would be. I think that would be something great for Electro. Instead of just giving Electro power, make him something like that, because then it kind of coincides more with War Machine. You can misery him out and stuff. I don't know. That's a different conversation, but Electro needs to be a 2 cost.
Yeah, I dig that. Totally take that. Electro 2 cost actually makes way too much sense. I like that idea a lot. Like a lot. Yeah,
Let's talk to
I don't know. Yeah, all right. I'll DM Glenn right now. I've definitely DM'd Glenn shit that he does not want me to DM. I'm like, can you do this? And he's like, no, leave me alone. You should have never opened my DMs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Glenn, can you break the game for me? No.
Yeah. All right. So Kale is good, not great. Is that a fair assessment? Like, she's just a good card that helps out. I'm happy to have. I don't love that I had to spend money on her. Money. I have a bajillion tokens, but like, I don't love that they're charging money for her. But I do like that she's in the game. Oh, ELA notes that Electro can't be 2 cost because Viper exists.
Well, Havoc's a 2 cost and Viper exists.
Oh,
yes,
God.
but Havoc says you can't play Viper next turn.
Sure,
if you play Havoc on 2, you can no longer play Viper.
There are a lot of cards, that Viper does, but like, okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
War Machine exists too. You can destroy cards.
Yeah, now everyone has to run
counter
War Machine.
exists, so this cannot happen because counter exists. We can never have this happen ever.
All right, let's move on to the Ancient One and the Dao Mandala. Ancient One is I wrote this one fucked up, huh? All right, Ancient One is a 3/5 on reveal. Add a Dao Mandala to your hand, and on the Dao Mandala is a skill 3 cost. Copy the text on reveal. Copy the text of one of your ongoing cards here. Apparently, I lost that somewhere. To your other characters here.
What's really cool about this card is I didn't realize this until I saw the dev video. Is it changes the text of the other cards in that lane. So if it's a 1 cost, a 2 cost, a 3 cost, it doesn't matter. The ongoing effect goes on to them. So it's not like it morphs them into something like Images does. This card is very interesting. I think it's going to be a little bit narrow to start. But I think I don't know if you play this in a Mr. Negative. Probably don't play this in a Mr. Negative, but you play this in a Ravona, Victoria Hand kind of style list, and I think that's really solid. Multiple Victoria Hands is really cool. Multiple Moonstones is really nice. This is another card that people are really gonna have to build around, and I think we'll have a good deck probably towards the weekend this card comes out. But 3/5 is good stats, and then you just need to play ongoing cards to get value from it too.
The description's a little tech soup, but I think it's really, really intriguing. If she was cheaper, I see the Ravona synergy with the Tau Mandala. I think it can be really powerful if you are playing the right deck with it. Being able to copy the text of one of the ongoing cards, that's crazy. I'm intrigued to see the decks that this creates. Imagine you have a ninja in that lane and you can copy the text of an onslaught onto it. That could be really, really cool. I think there's a lot of cool stuff. I think this is one that has got a very interesting future ahead of it.
So I think people are going to try it in a lot of stuff, but you need either Quinjet or Wiccan to make it good. Playing a 3/5 is fine, right? You're happy to drop a 3/5, but then finding the energy to play the Dao Mandala afterwards does seem like a challenge. Because an extra 3 is a lot. As we've seen, I urge you to look no further than Infinity Ultron to find out what playing extra generated 3s feels like. It's very awkward and very, very difficult. If you have multiple ongoings, it will hit a random one and then overwrite the others, which is sort of very likely to be a problem, right? So that's why it can't be just in an ongoing deck. It's going to want to be in a deck that runs 1 or 2 key ongoings. But how do you pull that off properly, right? It could be a lot of power. I think this one might end up being a little more clunky than it looks, but triple Victoria Hand is obvious, right? If Cerebro 5 is ever going to be a thing, this card really seems like a good way to go about that. Because Cerebro 5 would really love 3 Cerebros at +3 power. It's just, I don't know, 6 energy seems so much, even split. And 5 energy seems so much easier to fit. If I can play this with a 2, even on the last turn, I can play this with Shang. like I could play this. I could play with Juggernaut right now, but now what am I like generating or doing with those ongoings? I don't know. We're just slightly too clunky for me right now.
Yeah, I can see that. I do think having it in with a Quinjet or Ravona is good, but then what else do you put around it?
You have Ravona Quinjet, and that's probably all you really need. Like if in a Ravona deck you don't see Ravona, right? Like you're probably running anyway. But like one way you could stay is if you had 3 Quinjets.
I do like the zoo shout that Kernimbus is saying. That's what they do in the video too. You know, my squirrel's turned into Blue Marvel. Woo! But like even some of these cards like Dazzler turning into a Dazzler, like a bunch of other cards, like you win that lane. But like some more of the global like ongoing cards I think can benefit.
True. You just have to be very, very careful with placement.
Yes. That's something we're learning like from season to season now. You look at some of these, you know, front back text like oriented, like where you're at on the board, what's your board state, looking at Prodigy, looking at Captain Carter and stuff. It's kind of like the focus. They're trying to be more technical with that. So I think
this is the biggest Enchantress magnet they've ever printed, right? Like, if you don't do this on the last turn and the opponent has Enchantress, like, oh, I can blow up all of your things. Like you just made the whole like this lane is super very dead. I like this card. I think it's cool. I really think it's great design, but I'm not convinced it's as good as I want it to be.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, not yet. All right. I don't know why they're printing this card. It's Nightmare, 3, -1. On reveal, replace the text of each card in your hand with that of a random card that costs the same amount.
So, like, I'm a Sauron enjoyer, and I love this card for Sauron, but I will not like facing this card because it'll be one of the worst things to have to predict what did my opponent's cards turn into, because this is crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised if 3 -1 is a little too generous. Like I wouldn't be surprised, or if they change this card. Like it's like the things you don't like about Airshim is the unknown. Do they have this? Do they have that? Well, now they're actually dropping a Red Skull that is Blue Marvel, Iron Man. Oh, it's MODOK. Okay, well, it hit MODOK. Oh, it hit White Tiger. Okay. Oh, this Typhoid Mary turned into Shang-Chi. Not great. Oh, this 3/10 Starbrand Broods. Okay.
Well, and when it's bad, it's going to be bad sometimes, but you're never going to see when it's bad.
Nope.
And so that just makes it feel worse.
Yeah. So like, as a player playing this card personally, I think I like this card if I am playing this card. When my opponent has this card and is on the board, this is another one of those biggest or like one of the best like bluff snap cards you can play to either force someone out of the game, even if you had a bad hand because you just played Nightmare, or like you just win if they stay in. It's kind of like, I think I saw Cozy and Alex talking about this. Like you have to either respect the Jane Foster and Mr. Negative or not. Like that's literally what it's going to be. Do you want to potentially lose the cubes, or do you just want to retreat for one? And this is one of those cards that I think can be that. There's potential it falls flat, but I think there's just that confidence. Like you play Nightmare and you're like, I have aura, and I just snap now because I have it. Or like you said, you don't know what this stuff changed into, and you're like, well, I can't snap right now. Maybe they don't snap me, and I'm okay. Like it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's similar to how Iron Patriot was so powerful. You don't know what they've got. Did they get a 620 Doctor Doom? Like there are so many potential things that could happen from this. I know all of that initial thought was it's going to be for a Sauron style deck, but what if this just works outside of that, and what else could this possibly work for? Like especially like an Airshim, if you're either playing Airshim and you get this, or if you have it in your deck, it can mitigate a lot of the weirdness of that. And again, you idea. You don't know what you're going to get.
There's no way this mitigates weirdness.
Yeah. Well, like if you get crappy cards, it can give you you basically get to reroll what you get. Like, and that's super powerful because sure, you don't know, but they don't know. And I think, Glazer, I remember you talking about this. If they get Iron Patriot and they snap afterwards, you're out of there. Because what if they got something great? What if they got that Starbrand Brood? I don't know. I'm very intrigued.
620 Galactus.
So there's a lot of things we can do with this that are fun, right?
Mhm.
Like, this could be a fun card. But the thing to do with it is you find the cards with the biggest numbers on them on the right side of the board, on the right
Mhm.
side of their card, and you put it in that deck. And then
Yep.
sometimes, like, those numbers go down or those abilities go up, right? Like you get a Red Skull that's a Sarah, and you're a pretty happy camper. Or you get a Infinite that's a Mockingbird, right? Like, you're pretty fucking happy, right?
Yeah.
Like, or She-Hulk, right? Like,
Mhm.
pass turn 4 and then drop a fucking turn 5 Typhoid Mary that's something else and a Infinite, and it's just like, all right, this is. I'm excited. I really love that, like, chat and everyone's like, I love this so much. It's going to be a fucking day.
Yeah.
Within one day, this is going to be public enemy number 1 for the community. People are going to hate this shit, even if it's not good. I think there's a chance it's not as good as we think. I think the snap mechanic really benefits this card, as discussed. So I don't think it will be bad, even if it's not as good as it looks on the cover. But whether it's good or not, this is going to be the least fun experience, I think, in a million years in Marvel Snap. Like, you want to know why you should run Hellion? Because, like, they're going to drop 40 fucking power in that lane over on the left, and whatever you play there isn't going to matter. And then you're going to need Hellion to get your fucking cards out of there to have any shot. Right? Like,
Yeah.
like, you better be running fucking Cannonball, but Cannonball only kills one thing, so it's got to be Shang, right? Like,
Yep.
It's just big number go. This card is going to be an absolute, like, mess for the game, I think.
I think it's going to be the new Goliath. The new Goliath, the new Thanos Lockjaw, the new
week
Thanos,
1 Loki,
Thanos, like,
you know?
Oh God.
Yeah, Agatha card too. You know, you don't have your discard stuff. You can play it. You get Agatha value.
That's why Brady loves it so much. The White Wayne Brady has been in chat being like, "I love this card so much. I love this card so much," and we know, like, the secret is just because it's an Agatha card, right?
Yeah.
But if it only worked on 6-drops, maybe it'd be like, okay. It works on everything in your hand. Are we sure?
That's why they changed Sauron.
Like, are you sure? They changed Sauron because this plus Sauron would be fucking the stupidest thing on earth.
And
right?
Sauron was so good after the OTA change too. Yeah. Like, it just was.
Look, that deck is still one of the best decks in the game right now. Yeah. People that are playing this Sauron deck have just changed what cards it runs. That's still one of the best decks in the game.
Do you take out Wizard for this?
Yeah. Or you take out Surtur. Right? Like, fuck a Surtur. I don't need you, stupid. Go away. Like, just, this card is so stupid.
Yeah, I think anything with a negative power generally tends to be a second dinner going, this is going to be really powerful. Does this go in a negative deck? No. Could you make
absolutely?
But I'm just trying to think in a negative style.
No, that's literally the opposite of what you want to do. All your negative cards want to have high cost and no power. And this wants you to have... Yeah. How does that fucking help me? Like, my 6-1 can have a different text box.
Yeah.
No,
why would I want my?
It's just like a 3-drop you play. It's a 6-drop you just, or a 3-drop you just play in a list that you, like Glazer said, just big power, and you play through the downside of it having negative power. You know, just to benefit.
I think I'm desperately trying to avoid playing the big dumb idiot style deck. Like, my wife had sent me a deck when I was trying to hit infinite. She was like, "You should try my deck." I'm like, "What is it?" She's like, "It's a Sauron deck," and I'm like, "I'll pass, thanks." I think I just got so burnt out with that style.
Outside of day 1 and weekend missions, I'm not playing this shit, but I'm just gonna lose rank.
Just play Black Knight. I think, like, you could also use this as an alternate extra combo piece. Black Knight, like, you're just playing Giganto, you're playing Infinite, like, you just have those. Like, it's still kind of big immediate stuff, but, like, think about it too. Like, maybe you do discard a card and your Ebony Blade, it can't be destroyed, but, like, you're like, well, I don't want to deal with Shadow King. You nightmare this, and then it's a 420 something else. Like,
so a lot of the problem is, how the fuck do you counter this? What do you do?
Cosmo. Cosmo, like, you just
figure out what lane it's gonna be and Cosmo it.
Cosmo, like, Juggernaut, and Mercury. Like, you just, and then you just have
on turn 3. On turn 3, you play all that.
Yeah, you play everything. You just, or Goose. You have Goose and Cosmo, and you're like, you can't play this anywhere. No, you have to, like, get lucky, and it's literally just going to be the situation. Like, you think about it too. Like, you play Ravonna, and they play Mr. Negative in turn 3, right? They snap into the Ravona into Mr. Negative. You look at your hand then and there, either during the snap or before the snap. Do I stay in this game for more than 2 cubes? And there's just going to be a like this card's cube rate is either going to be really high because people are going to snap the right way, or also because people are retreating. Like it's just going to be really interesting, like you said, this week. And then we'll see what happens later on. Like when other cards come out this season, it might maybe shift stuff around. But like if this card is really accessible, people are going to be playing this. So we thought Thanos meta was bad. Nightmare meta, I don't know, throw stuff at the wall and see what happens. Like, it's just going to be very interesting. Yeah.
Definitely, if you're trying to hit infinite, do that before this card launches.
Yeah.
I hope there's an OTA the week after this. I don't remember the schedule right now.
I think there is, yeah, because they moved one up. They moved next week's to this week. But
I don't want it to be the 19th. It needs to be the 26th.
It'll be I think the next one is the 26th because the other OTA would have been this week.
Well, good, because they won't change it the 19th. Yeah. Like, we don't have the data. By the 26th, this should be undeniable, and then we can fucking do something.
This should be like another potential 4-1 thing or something. Potentially, we'll see. But
hey, look, I think 4-1 might actually be fine. That seems to fix it. Because then you are running Ravona with it, right? Like you are trying to ramp it out. Now you've got that extra bit of.
You're playing Zaku Sauron still.
Yeah? Fuck's sake. All right, enough of this shit. Let's talk about...
What are the chances that he falls flat is the one question that I've gotten, and I will shut up and let us move on. What are the chances that he's just too clunky or just doesn't work? Is there any chance of that, or is this one of those just guaranteed this card's going to be stupid good?
There are no guarantees. We did Fire Hair, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible to know until we play it.
Yeah.
Like it's possible we're totally wrong. It's just Fire Hair doesn't let me snap. A lot of so there's 2 things I've started to look at more and more as I'm trying to refine how I approach cards. What big number it make. Make big number good. If the number make big, that good. Nightmare does what big number good. And the other thing I'm trying to look at is how I snap. Does this give me a snap? Fire Hair does not give me a snap. Fire Hair does not give me a big number. So we should have been more skeptical on that, right? War Machine that we missed on does not give me a snap, does not give me a big number.
Well, War Machine was on reveal too, to be fair.
Sure. But even then, it doesn't give me a snapper. Like even now, right? Like it's not even now with it ongoing, it's not as good as we thought it would be because it doesn't give me a snap condition. It doesn't give me a big number. If you don't give me a snap condition or a big number, then what do I like? You need to be doing something so incredibly strong. And now we've introduced a lot of variants. This gives me a snap condition, and even though it doesn't have big numbers, it gives me access to big number. And like, I think combining those 2 things. It is possible anything fails. We can always be wrong. I think it is so much less likely because of those factors.
Man, what they changed to, going from a 2-2 to a 3-1 is a big jump. We laughed at Ajax going from a 4-5 to a 5-7. But like, can you imagine Ajax is a 4-cost card right now?
Oh my god.
No. Please no.
Yes, please. I miss 4-cost Starcock. All right. Next up. This is coming in High Voltage Overdrive, and I need to Nick, remind me to message Second Dinner. Supposed to be doing that interview, and I have not. Yeah, I got to get on that. All right, Kid Omega is a 2-1. Destroy the next card you play this turn to gain its power. Fire away.
I really like this card. I've been amped up on this card for months and months. I think a destroy card, besides a Tuma, that can, destroy through a Cosmo and some bad locations, and like you can target destroy when you want to destroy is really good. Plus gaining the card's power itself is awesome. This is why they didn't change Elixir, or why they did change Elixir, why they haven't changed him since, in a dream world, this is where Nimrod comes back. Shuri Nimrod is a thing.
I don't think that's a dream world in the slightest.
No, but I think this is just a really good, gives you some destroy extra value. Maybe does this make Morgan Le Fay somewhat decent because, you're able to target it and then do Morgan stuff. Maybe you're destroying Morgan Le Fay. But I think this card is also just a lot of setup or just help for more of Dormamu when Dormamu comes out. And I think that's where you're kind of getting the value there. And instead of, I just destroyed this card, it's now just in my, in my graveyard. I didn't get the power. The power's gone. I think that just kind of helps there. I think this is going to be a good card for what it does.
I think it's fascinating that they're releasing a really powerful card in a game mode. I think there is a lot of power associated with it, considering they just recently, like yesterday, they according to the data, they've dropped his power. He was a 2/2. So the fact that they've dropped that, the fact that he is a Series 5, I'm sure some of that is to encourage people to play the limited game modes, but they didn't do that previously. I mean, Lasher is a fine card, but that was a Series 4. So the fact that they've got this in a game mode that's also relatively straightforward, I think as long as you put in just enough time, high voltage was just a guarantee. You just had to finish missions. You weren't worried about winning the matches, and there wasn't a limit to what you could play. So the fact that they're giving us what would effectively be 6,000 worth of tokens just for putting in our time. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think that's very interesting, and I as somebody who does play Destroy, it's nice to have another card that could potentially define that archetype. This could bring a different look to what Destroy has been, which has been literally the same basically since launch. Obviously, there have been some additions with, Nico and X23, but I think this combined with Elixir, you can cook some really interesting stuff, and I'm really excited to see what some of those cooks look like. Like I'm very intrigued, and it's an interesting card.
Love it for Phoenix Force too.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Nimrod's good. I know that that's controversial, but I started playing Nimrod at the end of last season. I won a shit ton of games and cubes. It was my best deck last season. And this with Nimrod seems like it's a little bit broken. Like, I don't... So remember that I can Galacta Nimrod, right? Like, I don't need to... Shuring Nimrod gives me 12. Galacta Nimrod gives me a 9. 9's all over the board. There's 4 spots, right? Like, that is, unless my math is wrong, 36-ish power. That seems like a lot. In each lane, and Kid Omega would actually make it 37 because he'll be 10 power, right? Because he's going to get that first destroy. And then I still have all my other tricks and shenanigans to do with that deck. So, like, this seems utter. I think this makes Nimrod a meta card in a very real way. That's very scary.
Isn't he Nimrod himself too? Like in lore?
No.
Or he's similar?
No. He's not that I know of anyway. Not that I know of anyway. But he's also just wildly like good in Destroy, like classic Destroy. Just Venom is the best card in that deck 90% of the time, right? Because Venom is just, oh look, I ate that and got my power. Like, great, thanks. I've got another Venom. Thank you for Venom Part 2. When you see Deadpool early in this, you don't even trigger this shit, right? Yeah. Like, you just won that game, though. You're going to trigger this on, like, turn 5.
Yeah.
And then just be like, cool, thank you. Like, you just win. The game is over at that point. Like, and Cosmo doesn't stop him. Armor is still annoying, right? But Armor in his lane doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's a red Guardian target, which is a real thing. I think he's great in a very real way. I think he could also be a problem. This feels like power creep this season in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the better cards are just like better versions of things we had. We got a better cloak. We got cheaper Venom, right? Like we got better Sauron. Like, we're just getting better versions of things in very real ways that I think is now that I'm talking about it, happening in a way that I think it might be planned. This might be like a lot of the most recent cards haven't been like pushing the power of the game. I think they might just be saying, all right, we're going to enter an era of a new level of power now. And we'll do this like once a year, once every 2 years, where it'll just be like, all right, we're going to have a season where it's just going to be like, this is our new era of power. Whereas like right now, like there was a point where Bounce was the top point deck in the game, right? And now if you play Bounce, you get outpowered by 15 different things. There's like 20 different decks. You can just put up more points than you can at Bounce. That's power creep. And in a very literal way, the amount of power needed to win each lane has gone up. Bounce no longer hits the number that without extra work that is needed for that extra way to for that power to win those lanes as consistently as it used to, where it was like 100% of the time for a while. That's why it had to get nerfed. Now Bounce is hitting fundamentally the same point numbers with a bunch of new cards, but that's no longer winning the same lanes. That's power creep. At some point that happened. These cards, Kid Omega, Nightmare, maybe even to some extent Mercury, Hellion even, like, they all say the same thing to me. Hell, Merlin is in a way power crept Kate Bishop, right?
Mhm.
Like all these cards in a very, very real way are just saying, like, maybe we're establishing a point. Maybe instead of like 27, like if you have 27 in a lane, you usually feel pretty comfortable to win it, right? It used to be like 23. So what happened? So let's say we push that 27 to 28, 29, 30 to feel comfortable winning a lane. That could be what we're looking at with this month.
Definitely,
Man, I
with all
wish.
the enablers and stuff too. Like, I'm looking at like the cards coming out later this month too. Like, there's cards, and I guess speculatively also like data mines. Like, there's cards that are coming out that either summon cards to locations or just add cards itself. So it's one less thing you have to play out when you're counting your energy. And I think that is also something that you're saying to keep in mind when it comes to the power itself.
Mhm.
Like this right here, I don't have to play another card with a Nimrod to get that Nimrod across the board. I just press activate on this card and boom, it spreads. And like there, you have to kind of, if you don't write Guardian this card, you have to know that, you know? And like, even if Morgan Le Fay has kind of maybe fallen a little flat, if you're not keeping track of your opponent's graveyard and they add these cards back to your hand, what are they going to be playing? You know, like there's a lot more mental you have to think about now, even if the cards may not be good at the moment. Like even Elixir, right? Elixir maybe isn't good at the moment, but you're like, what card do they potentially revive? What do they have back in their hand? I can't track that anymore. And you see that with move bounce as well. You're like, wait, how big was that Human Torch? Wait, how big was that dagger? Which cards cost 0 right now? And it's all that fundamental like psychology and stuff too, when it is like floating energy or wanting priority, not having priority. Like you're thinking more in Snap this year than we have in a lot of previous years, which I think is good to help continue to progress players. And then we also have other systems now to potentially help get new players in. It's becoming just more and more strategic, which I think I genuinely like about Snap too. The power creep, of course, is a thing. And, you know, that's just going to continue to be a thing. New cards need to come to the game to continue to add that, you know, quality of life. But we'll see how that impacts if we have like another crazy OTA or something down the line, like in a couple months, if they need to change and address certain things. But yeah.
I expect he's going to get Red Guardian a lot too.
So, I also like that they set his cost up so it becomes more awkward to use him with Fire Hair.
Yeah.
Right? Because like if you can go, and you can't, right? But if you can go him and Fire Hair, Cassandra Nova, blow up Cassandra Nova into Elixir, that seems bad. Now there's not really a clear curve. You can still do that, but you're now off curve and you're trying to do extra things, and I think that's important. But triple Cassandra Nova is real strong, y'all.
Really? You don't say.
Just letting you know.
Carmitage, Cassandra Nova, 2 Cassandra Novas is pretty rough, so I would see 3 pretty bad.
But again, the one thing with Cassandra Nova is every turn you don't play her, she gets progressively worse.
When you're doubling and tripling, it matters significantly less.
This is true.
But good comparison with Cassandra Nova, because this is the next Series 5 card that we have in a new game mode since Cassandra Nova. So it's been a minute.
Yep.
Bet you the game moves grindy.
Oh, yeah. But it's high voltage, so there's short game modes.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Right?
We don't know that.
Yeah, no.
It was data mined as 4 turns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
or at least in the video, it says 4 turns.
Oh, it did say? Okay. I checked the data mines and I saw that it's 4 turns. So 4 turns can be faster, but it could also, like, if there's enough shit happening, right? Like
the overdrive stuff.
You know they love some animations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I can see this being quite grindy.
If it's grindy like the original high voltage was versus something like Diner or Sanctum, which again, those modes are fine. I don't hate those modes. But that's again with high voltage, you could just go and play. And I know Overdrive does some stuff where it gives you extra currency. I didn't get a chance to fully watch all of that, but I from my understanding, that does boost the currency, does it not?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think staying game should give you more currency if that's your thing, or like the overdrive mechanic.
Look, I fully plan to mostly just spend my way to this card.
And Twitch drops.
I need to test this. Although I will stream that first night, the mode basically that entire night, get my own Twitch drops from watching myself, and then I will just buy the rest of my way there. Anything I don't have, because I got to test this card. The fun of being a content creator is that like I can't have it take me 2 weeks to get the new card. Like I've done that before, and it kills my views. It sucks.
Yeah, looking at it, I just found the description of it. So it looks like the missions are going to be very similar, but it looks like there is that track may be longer to get to. But I don't know. I'm high voltage. I did the best as far as I ever did in bounties and things of that sort, because it's just so easy to pick up bounties and just throw stuff in decks and play, because there's no cost to it. Like there's no cost to you other than time.
All right. It's cost for me. All right. I guess Cobra is a card. 2/3, activate, destroy an enemy card created here.
So this is like, oh no, I get a free card from the limited time game mode. Like Cobra, like if you're wanting to play Cobra, you're not playing this on curve. You're waiting to see where your opponent plays a created card and then playing Cobra. That's pretty much how you play.
What if they have Cobra blindness like Echo?
That's also valid. It could happen.
It's not gonna.
But
it's gonna happen.
But yeah, this is just like a card. Like you don't just throw it into a lane. You kind of have to like figure out what your opponent's playing. And some lane, if you want to play this card, some games you're gonna get 0 value from this card, and then other games you might, oh, I hit that power stone from Thanos, and Thanos lost 10 power in one lane, and it won me the other lane. So you'll have options there, but it is just gonna be a card.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cards that's going to sit and languish in a lot of people's collections. If we struggle putting cards like Mobius in that only work in those specific incidences, unless the enemy created card situation becomes really, really strong and people are putting a ton of created cards on there, maybe if a Victoria hand deck gets crazy big.
Gorgon-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's an activate. It destroys a single card. At any time I've ever played Thanos, I generally have multiple stones, and knowing my RNG, it's going to destroy the time stone or something else that is absolutely unnecessary. Plus, it's an activate, which means that you have to have it either in that. It's a card. You get it in a game mode. Cool.
It's for the Black Panther.
Is this in high voltage as well?
Yeah.
So it's also ugly. This is like the ugliest fucking design of a character ever, right? Like it's not just me.
No.
Yes.
Like it's clearly a human who's pretending he's a Cobra in a way that like Spider-Man doesn't fucking pretend he's a spider. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
But he's also got glasses that somehow managed to make my glasses look cool. Like he's wearing this weird hoodie thing. This is ugly. He's got stripes because of course he has stripes. This is the ugliest character design in Marvel Snap.
He didn't ask Scorpion for help. Scorpion could have helped him out.
Right? Like Scorpion looks cool. This card looks like a disaster.
He's a Walmart version of the Lizard League from Invincible, and that's saying something considering how kind of lame they are in some ways.
I think the Lizard League is based on Cobra, not vice versa. But yeah.
Serpent Society, baby.
Go Joe. All right, let's move on.
All right, now we're getting in Rio cards. Okay, go ahead.
Dormamu.
I'm excited.
Ooh, you want to let Nick go first? Let's let Nick go first for this one. Game start, begin. No, you have to now. Game start, beginning a summoning ritual, which means you get step 1. Step 1 is a 0 cost ritual. On reveal, merge your highest power destroyed card with Dormamu to continue this ritual, which means you fundamentally immediately need to destroy a card as soon as possible to get that one going. Dormamu will gain that card's power. The second one is cost 1. On reveal, Dormamu steals 1 power from each other card here to continue the ritual. So that can just be opponent's cards and you're totally fine. You get some power for 1 energy. That one seems like the best one. And then cost 3, which might be clunky, might need to be at the end of the game. On reveal, destroy 2 of your other cards here to summon Dormamu. I assume the word that's missing there is also here.
Yes. And from my understanding, banish this will not be part of it because they removed that from the lexicon now. Which
I'm not editing my slides
that's fair.
For second dinner grammar.
am so excited to try and make this work in a destroy deck. Like, this seems absolutely insane. Combining this with Kid Omega, Elixir, and then building a destroy package around that, like, holy crap. The ritual part of it gives you a secondary metagame in the game. Like, you are having to play those in order to continue that cycle. The fact that it's game start, you don't have to worry about whether he's in your hand. And the fact that if you complete it, you summon him into your hand. Obviously, you need to have ramp. So
you don't summon him into your hand.
I thought it adds the ritual to your hand. Does he start in your hand?
Oh, the ritual. No, the ritual to your hand. But he gets summoned to the board.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Even better, like, even more exciting to have that. Like, destroy 2 of your cards to summon him in a destroy deck. Please let me destroy more cards. I would like to destroy more than just the 2 cards. Like, this is going to be insane. And it feels like this is the first time that it's been one of those end of the month cards that's similar to like Eliath was. Like, when Eliath was announced, it was going to be the end of the card. It was like, oh crap, this card is going to change the entirety of the game. And I think this is going to be such a fun addition to play. Now, is he going to be fun to play against? Not so much. Do we know if the second step, if they're running Luke Cage, if that stops it, or does it just need to be able to complete its on reveal?
Probably just the on reveal.
So if that's the case, I mean, that I see very few downsides to this. Even if you weren't running it in a specific destroy deck, I think this could very easily. Yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how this will work. In a destroy deck, it's going to be great, and I'm wondering if you can find ways for it to work outside of that. But yeah, I cannot wait. It's too late.
Yeah, I think this is a really cool big badge for like classic destroy. I think this also for like misery mill kind of things also can be really interesting because you're destroying cards repeatedly. Like worst case scenario, let's say you do destroy a hood and your hood is the only thing in your graveyard. That of course still allows you to go to step 2 even if that afflicts on your Dormamu, maybe even possibly just like getting these extra destroys for like death value. You want null potentially as like top end on like a different, like you're going classic destroy. I'm also thinking like even if you're not able to complete the Dormamu summoning ritual, having just a spell you can play on the board that takes away power from your opponent's cards seems pretty good. The downside is if they're running Luke Cage, they don't lose power. But like I think that's really good. And I think what's also great is like you automatically start with the first spell in your hand or skill, whichever you want to call it. And then once you play it, you get the next one. So you're not waiting turn by turn. I need to draw this. I need to draw, like when it comes to spells, maybe the card you want to destroy and stuff. But I think this is a later turn thing like Glazer is talking about as well. So then it's not just boom, it is Shang-Chi'd. Or even maybe Dormamu does get Shang-Chi'd, but you have Null. So like you have Null to soak up if that happens too. Like it's going to be really interesting to see what type of value you can get with this card. And I'm glad this is like a newer kind of like mechanic they're adding to Snap where it's continual step by step progression, which is cool.
I don't think he can go in a classic destroy list. The first thingy just is too hard to pull off in that list. It's like my real problem. Like outside of that, I think that means he's probably going to need to be his own thing or an alternate destroy list. Because the 3 things you want to destroy are Deadpool, Wolverine, and X-23. And none of those go to your pile, so you cannot merge them with Dormammu.
Nico.
So
yeah, I was thinking Nico or and honestly, he could, if you've got the ramp, it could be Nimrod. Because Nimrod counts as a destroyed card.
Sure, but like now I'm not starting my ritual until turn 4, turn 5. It seems rough. Like, I mean, it's not impossible to do, right?
But Mill
it's just
crazy.
Mill seems like it's reasonable. Oh, how?
Or are not so like just not like the like Baron Zemo stuff, like just the misery destroy like with Killmonger
misery
and everything.
Yeah. Misery and Killmonger seem like they're relatively good here.
Yeah.
The only, I mean, I guess there's 2 whole cards I think in Marvel Snap that want to be destroyed to then do something. correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I guess 3, right? Nimrod, who's expensive, but the 2 cheap ones would be Ben and Bucky, right?
Mhm.
Like, I can't think of anything else that really wants to be destroyed. Am I forgetting something?
No, I think you're right. And I think Token Destroy is like kind of where your head's at too. And I think
I could see like exactly like a Token Destroy, maybe even something
Oh,
running
Nova.
Morgan Nova. You're right, Nova.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's like I think we're running those cards, those types of cards here. And like we're still gonna have to run. We're still gonna have to run Carnage,
really good.
Venom. We still have to run all the Destroy cards, but now I'm not sure we're getting as much out of it. So we need to figure out, hi Kitty, if this is actually better than Classic Destroy. I'm not convinced it will be, but I'm pretty happy it exists either way.
Yeah.
And like maybe we can just like
fun.
and maybe we can just like cut Wolverine, right? Like we can cut Wolverine and Hulkbuster, and maybe that's enough, right? Like Hulkbuster just becomes Nova, and we've lost a little bit, but like whatever. Like getting access to Dormamu was worth it. Wolverine, we've lost a little bit, but like Wolverine's not usually bigger than a 2/7, right? It just kills us when we want to like do the double destroy. But even if we want to do the double destroy, we then have not just Venom to keep that extra power. We also have
Kid Omega.
Oh, Kid Omega. Thank you. I keep losing his name. I also have Kid Omega to like do that. So maybe it's possible it's Classic Destroy, but we're gonna have to rebuild the list. But I'm ultimately fine with that. I think this is gonna be a really interesting card. I think it's like the 5th strongest card this season, which is kind of fucking wild. Like I don't think there's any chance this is better than Kid Omega. I would be shocked if it's better than Nightmare. I don't think this is probably on the same tier, but I don't think it's better than Hellion or the 2 accidental releases. Right? Like, is this better than Merlin? Maybe.
I think if you're a Destroy player and you're looking for something different, some way to change that archetype, I think this is the most, like, for me, this is the card that I'm most excited about, along with like Kid Omega and being able to use Elixir. Simple as that. Like,
yeah, I like this card. It's so hard for me to imagine this being as good as everyone thinks it's going to be. But like, they released Arishem, right? And Arishem was completely broken, and no one was like, I don't know, how the hell do we evaluate this? And this is big numbers, but it's also takeaway numbers. So like, where do we end up here? I don't think you need to try and make this a 720. I think you're fine with this as like a 712, 713, 714.
Free card on the board for potentially 4 energy.
4 cost card on the board.
Yeah,
right?
4. I mean, but like 4, 411, 412, and then you can also do the same stuff that turn. You know, like.
But you have to make sure that you've built your deck to get that right. Like it doesn't just happen. It's not 4 energy for 12 for.
Yeah, you've done stuff prior to it. Like you've set stuff up, but you've also death and stuff.
I can see Misery being reasonably cool here.
And even to it's targeted. High card, like whatever the highest powered card you destroyed is what he absorbs too. So like if you do a whole bunch of fodder, he gets the biggest one. So like that kind of helps.
So Cassandra Nova, Misery, same turn as Misery, play this. Right? Like the problem is then you can't elixir it, right? Like that's gone. That option's gone. You can't Phoenix Force it. So like there's some weird different synergies with this. That's probably why it says merge instead of like gain, because if it was just gain, you would be like, all right, cool, so I'm just gonna elixir that and Phoenix Force that and whatever, and now you're like just going real over the top. But chat dead guy POV has the POV of maybe Dormammu with Thanos death. I could see it Thanos death. The problem might be hand space at some point, but outside of that, it seems like it's probably decent.
Yeah, no,
I think one of the benefits is the cost being so low for the rituals, like having it be 0-1, and then 3 is a lot.
Nicholas Scratch value. Destroy Nicholas Scratch. Oh, except that you're not playing the ritual until after you destroyed him, so he's not going to get the benefit.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
I don't know. I think it's just simple Kid Omega destroying your Nico that was destroying your Deadpool or X-23. Like, fine. Like, I don't need it to merge anything crazy. I just want to keep going with the ritual and get I'm
Thanos Destroy sounds like a really good shout for like, because you're like, okay, well, maybe I am trying to get Thanos big, but no, I'm just trying to destroy every single thing on the board. So like,
you get a free death as an extra bonus.
yep. And if he's in your deck and you summon him early, you deck thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that, and you're not dealing with a whole, like with Agamotto, you're dealing with the spells being added to your deck. You have to pull them out. These are in your hand, ready to go. And sure, you get that Mind Stone on turn 1 and your hand is full. That sucks. But when that doesn't happen and you can't, I don't know. I'm very excited to mess with this.
And
if it can do something different with Thanos, that's not just, Strange Supreme Thanos, I'm on board with that.
You could probably run Strange Supreme. You should have, but you probably run Strange Supreme.
You destroy your Strange Supreme, and then you add that power to Dormamu.
Mm-hmm. All right. I've come to bargain. Okay. Clea apparently really likes books. Series 5, 6,000 tokens. I would have sworn, if you asked me, I would have bet almost anything that this was going to be a Series 4 card. After this card permanently gains power, it's a 1/2. After this card permanently gains power, add a Flames of Faltine to your hand, whether Clea is in hand or at play, which is reasonably cool, because you can, like, Nikia her, and then she's going to add a Flames of Faltine in your hand. But it seems like unlikely that she will work with Surge or Fastos, or any other cards that would affect you in deck. Okoye, those are the 3. Yeah. So Flames of Faltine is a 1-cost card. On reveal, afflict enemy card here with -3 power. And then obviously it banishes itself. It is a skill. So it's basically a 1/3 that doesn't take up a board space, but you have to stack power on Clea in order to get it.
Zoo Affliction. You have Marvel Boy hit her every turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then your Nicholas Scratch gets value because you're able to play this one cost. And Nicholas Scratch is also getting the Marvel Boy buff. So I think this card's gonna be okay. I think like there's different routes to her. It's interesting for some hand buff style decks to have some like affliction besides like Lasher in it, but you might just have to might be like just a big investment piece. Do you want to be playing out that one energy every single turn, or is it like boom, you use this later on? Like, is there a world where you're using this in like just classic affliction? Probably not. But if there's a way where you also can just like buff your cards in your hand too with your affliction, that could help. But I'm just thinking Marvel Boy Clea is where Dance and I we're talking, and could be interesting.
So you play Nova, you play her, you play Killmonger. You should still technically get the Flames because she will be hit before she's destroyed. And then you bring her back with Dormammu, or you merge her with Dormammu. I don't know. It's probably too much work, but I mean, all you need to do is find a way to give
one
her
extra -3.
Yeah. Unless you have, like suggested by Dead Guy, Torres to double the spells, and -6 ain't too shabby.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that,
doesn't take up space on the Torres is really nice.
It's like Werewolf by Night kind of stuff here, like some Werewolf bounce things, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, you of course have to buff this card to be able to like get the Werewolf stuff.
Yeah, those notable Werewolf hand buff decks floating around all over.
Yeah.
There's got to be something though, right? It's
But is it? I don't, like you said, Tucker, I don't know if this is a Series 5 card. This kind of has a Series 4 feel to it, but maybe there's something that we're just not seeing.
I mean, it's probably Marvel Boy shit. I'm going to try it in hand buff because I like hand buff, but I think it's probably just Marvel Boy shit. You throw it in a deck with Marvel Boy and you just say, okay, cool, I've got some extra stuff. Remember when they told us they were going to make it so Luke didn't do everything? It's still on the docket. You can do anything with that?
I think it's still on the docket.
Yeah,
also,
they
I think
just
this is
kind of
July card too. I think this is the first day of
You're right.
July.
I didn't change the date. This is literally 7/1. Comes out the week after Dormammu. They originally had it reversed, and then I just didn't edit properly.
Also, is anyone else very happy that we have a 5-week season? Like, especially after the struggle, I think a lot of people struggled with hitting Infinite last season. I think having a 5-week season just kind of gives you a little bit of breathing room. You don't have to They go, oh, I've got,
when Nick says us, he means me.
Me, 100%. But I want,
Well,
I want to feel, like I am not alone.
Extra game mode this season 2.
There's 2 limited game modes
Yeah.
and a tournament. There's not actually more time this season. Like, there's actually probably less time in terms of like ladder time.
You got to hit it quick this season, Nick. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm planning on it. I hit 80 in 2 hours, so I'm just hoping that trend continues and I can go from there.
80 was easy, and then getting to 90 took like a fucking day.
Why are you doing this to me? Don't do that to me. I know it did, but I don't want you to do that to me. I want to have an easy route. I don't want to. Don't get in my head.
Sorry, I hit an 80 in an hour off stream, just like fucking around as soon as the thing came out in the car while my son was at swimming. And I was like, oh, wow, that was easy. And then I came home and streamed, and I just bounced around the 80s all night. I hit 90 in like an extra like hour today because Fudge's deck is so good. Except that now Cam and I both covered the fucking Fudge deck on the same day. So that is no longer unknown, and there goes my extra cubes from that shit.
So the only other question is, when you were on stream, you were also trying to play a whole bunch of crappy decks, because that is, you're trying to give people an idea of what the decks look like. When you're trying to do a whole bunch of Nicholas Scratch decks or activate a whole bunch of cards, you might not have the best climb with those decks.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really fucking worried about it. I'm getting
Yeah.
You're gonna hit Infinite. I'm gonna fucking hit Infinite. But if I don't decide to hit it tomorrow, I'll hit it Friday or Saturday. No. Yeah. For some reason I don't, feel free to make fun of me. I don't really give a shit. I'll hit it when I want to hit it.
Yeah.
Or like, it's fine. You know what I decided to do that let me climb? When people snapped me, I actually retreated instead of going, what do I care? Because my usual but I'm streaming especially, they snap me and I'm like, if I just run every time I get snapped, it's really not very fun of a stream, right? Like, and some people really like that, I guess, but like I find it kind of boring. So like I often just go, let's see what they're doing, and I can always retreat later. But like, it literally makes the climb take twice as long, right?
Mm.
So I wasn't streaming when I decided to hit 90 today, so that people snap me, and unless I thought I could win, I was all right, bye. It's ridiculous how much that simple thing. Yeah.
Question about Clea. Sorry, just back onto her. There's an interesting point made with Kahori. Is it each time or just one time? Because it doesn't say.
No, it'd be each.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, then. Now we're talking. Now that makes things very interesting.
That's what we're talking about, like Marvel Boy, because like you get one at the end of every single turn.
Mm-hmm. And she can make a lot of these things. It's just Black Swan, Clea into Black Swan into Shaw into. No, Clea into Black Swan into Marvel Boy into Kahori.
Mm-hmm. And then you play Hitmonkey final turn.
Yep, exactly. Obviously. Yes. Hitmonkey at negative like 30.
Good lord.
Doesn't actually seem.
Just gotta have the hand space.
Mm-hmm. You can honestly just go Clea into Marvel Boy. Oh no, because you have to play Black Swan on 4 because that's super annoying. But yeah, okay.
It works. It works.
Yeah. I'm not excited by Clea, honestly. If she's good, she's going to be super annoying, and I don't expect her to be good. But like, if she's good, she's going to be like, all right, I guess I just throw Luke into some fucking decks now.
Yeah.
But you know,
shit, you're taking up a deck spot.
Alex, Kochia raid. How you doing, my friend?
Let's go, baby.
Mr. Kochia.
We're doing our very poor Snapchat impression right now. All right. So we done with Clea?
Yeah.
Hello, Lee.
Yes.
All right. Boop. Our variant of the week, as we begin to wrap up this episode, is Giganto.
Good old Giganto. I had the Giganto in the big, little donuts, because I thought it's just so fun for this card. Like, you see, of course, these other ones where he's like running through the cities and he's huge, but then you see just a little boat and he's just chilling, not trying to cause any chaos here. He's just vibing, and I think it just pays so much to, like, he's just going to be vibing in that left lane because he's not going anywhere else right now.
Yep.
I like in that variant that it looks like it could just be an accident, right? There's like, that could have easily just been a big red thing that he crashed through and is like, all right, well, this is where I live now. Like, I'm all about that. Like, it's a really, really cool variant.
Yeah, right. I agree. I regretted not getting this one, but because I didn't, I felt like I didn't have the right to choose it. So I picked the 1 million BC one, which is at least interesting, imposing, a little scary. I like this one.
Yeah, yours is actually terrifying. Mine is just fake Godzilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's clear it's just Godzilla, except it's Giganto instead. That's why I picked it. The last hip I got from like regular hips. I'm now hip complete, by the way. Anyone who cares. I got from the collectors, what's it called? The vault. That's what they call that thing. From the vault, I ended up getting my last hip, which was the Groot hip. Whenever started Tuesday. But my last regular hip that I got from just collector's track, outside of new ones that come out every so often, was Giganto. So it was special to me. But like, this one's tearing up a city with helicopters and stuff in the background. I don't even want to change the background on this. Like, look at how big he is to scale compared to those helicopters. That's cool, right? Like, and plus Godzilla's awesome.
I will say he's got a very odd mouth shape in a lot of the ones where his mouth is open and screaming. Like, it's very.
I mean,
he could
honestly,
literally.
I feel like if Tucker shaved and decided to rampage through a city, it's basically the same thing.
Just
Tucker's like 18
teeth.
feet tall. If anyone who doesn't know Tucker, just an absolute monster of a human being. Like, he likes One Piece because he sees himself in the size of the ship.
That's true. That's why I like the one where he's in the little tube, because there was a ship on the side.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm very happy. Just so you know, we always pick a variant of the week that got a change or became suddenly meta, or a new card. So Giganto is going to be 416 in the OTA. That's probably released by the time this episode comes out. So, 616. I think that is a very good buff, and I'm really excited for this. Honestly, really cool character to be good. A lot of Marvel started with like monsters. A lot of why Fantastic Four was the first successful Marvel comic is because they were dealing with like Marvel monsters type stuff. And it's just I love that like this exists in the game.
I like it.
More Dracula dump.
I mean, Red Wing dump in this day and age, friend. Don't you shit on the chicken. I'll tell Barry on you.
Hey, I'm not. I was playing chicken, and I was doing fairly well with it on the night where I was trying to struggle to hit infinite, and it was very fun. But he just adds, you have Dracula in that deck too, and you just fill up Dracula if you don't get him on the board.
Maybe I'll hit him with that. I love that deck. That remains my like one of my favorite decks ever.
I've named it Chicken Rat by way of Glazer.
Nice. Its original name was The Bird and the Bat.
That's better. I like that better.
I mean, it's Thursday who made the list. I want no credit. I've been talking about it for months, but Thursday made it. 2 or 3 days after Red Wing came out, I changed precisely 0 cards.
Nice.
And just kept winning with it. But The Bird and the Bat is a really, really great idea. It took me upsettingly long, because I'm a very stupid man sometimes, to understand what the bat was. Because I heard bat and my brain went baseball bat. You know what the bat is, yes? Nick looks confused.
I don't know why I'm confused.
Dracula can turn into a bat.
Oh, duh. Yes, of course. Duh.
Once I got that, I was like, oh, but like my brain went to like literal baseball bat instead of the animal bat, because brains are funky.
Yeah.
And like it literally 10 minutes later, I was like, oh, I'm a moron. Yeah, I love this.
It's the age getting to our brain. Maybe we got some worms in our brain at some point.
I used to sleep at night. I'm just gonna let everybody know that. I mean, Tucker's now starting that I don't sleep at night anymore. Like, the instant you have kids, like, you just
Tucker
don't
never
ever...
slept at night.
Oh, well, that's fair. But he'd sleep all day back then.
It's true. I would sleep all day.
Like, the second you have kids, you just never get enough sleep again, is what my life experience has been. Or life experience of most of those I know. So enjoy that, everyone. Sterilize yourself. All right. Please don't do that.
Well, then. Alrighty.
All right. Hey, friends. Dark Moogle is very into that message.
Yep.
Like, hell yeah! Snip it, baby!
Oh, no.
All right. Please remember to follow Tucker on Twitter. It's TUCCRR everywhere. It is also at TUCCRR on YouTube and TUCCRR on Twitch. Tucker, can you find a new way to tell people why they should follow you?
So, if you guys like being able to just talk about wherever, hang out, vibe, send decks that we can all either review together, or we can be like, no, you need to change every single thing about that deck kind of situation. Or if you guys just want, a high energy most of the time, if I'm caffeinated, baby stuff is kind of, going around. So maybe it's not incredibly high caffeinated all the time. But somewhat competitive, I would say, Marvel Snapper, as well as playing more off meta style decks. I don't really like to play the meta stuff. You guys can't really catch me playing Thanos unless, someone's, got a gun to my head and then I have to play Thanos kind of thing. I will never play Arishem, by the way. So if you guys are wanting any Arishem content, you can never see that on my channel. But just high energy and just a very welcoming environment for you guys to be able to hang out, watch Marvel Snap, vibe. And then if you guys are interested in other stuff, we do play some Marvel Rivals too. I'm playing more Snap than Rivals right now because I'm enjoying Snap. Even if the meta maybe have been a little bit sour for some people last season, I'm really enjoying just hanging out with you guys again. And the game is just very fun with all these new cards, being able just to test a bunch of new stuff. So yeah, streaming pretty much every single night. The only nights I really take off are Mondays and Thursdays, but my Thursdays are kind of opening up a little bit more because I'm trying to snap as much as possible. But yeah.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, Checker is an amazing follow. He's a phenomenal streamer and so welcoming. I mean, I remember coming into your chat, full chat, you still work incredibly hard to make everyone feel seen, make everyone feel like you're part of the family. And I've met Tucker in person. There is no difference. The kindness that you see on stream is the kindness that you see in person. Plus, holy shit, he's tall. He's very, very tall. But never imposingly so. Like, he does not use his height as a threat. It is just gentle kindness. So it was an honor being able to meet him. And if you don't go into his streams, if you don't follow him, if you are not subbed, get on that. It is very well worth it.
All right. Little Nikki.
Yes.
Little Nikki, come sit on my knee. Do you know where babies and snap packs come from, Little Nikki? Little Nikki? Do you know? I bet you don't. I'm going to tell you. It's time for our conversation about the babies and the snap packs. So Tucker and Mrs. Tucker wanted babies real bad. They were like, we really want a baby. And they tried everything. They kept opening Spotlight caches after Spotlight caches, and there was just no baby in any of the Spotlight caches. So what Tucker said was, Mr. Second Dinner, please, Mr. Second Dinner, please, give me a new system so that I can have a new baby. And lo and behold, a miracle came upon us. Snap packs. And in that very first snap pack that Tucker opened was a brand new baby. The story of babies and snap packs. You must follow Tucker in greatness for all babies and snap packs everywhere. For without them, what do you hate? Babies and snap packs? Ugh. Get it together. Follow Tucker.
What is it that you do to him, Tucker, that he wiles out every time these episodes end? I think it's because you've been on so often.
He's on every episode. I have to come up with new ways. I've said every nice thing I know in the English language about fucking Tucker at this point. He's awesome. He's a great streamer. He's amazingly professional. He has amazing, like, I've said all those things. This is like his 10th time on the show. I'm gonna keep finding new ways to talk about Tucker every time. It's my job, and I'm gonna do my job. Damn it, I'm a professional. Hey, Nick, you know how you stream 3 days in a row?
Yes.
You finally get your own slide. Congratulations.
Yay,
you're actually a streamer now.
I am a streamer now, and I'm even going to stream tonight after I pee. I am chaotic. There is no logic when you come into my stream. Sometimes I play really well, and other times I do not. If you looked at my stats on the night where I almost did not hit infinite, it was a nightmare. But sometimes I do play really well, and I like to have fun. And chances are, if you want me to play your deck, I will play your deck, and I won't necessarily do it properly, but I will do it anyway. I'm just another person. I'm another white guy that's on stream that would love to have people hanging in my chat. Simple as that. Other than that, I got nothing else. I don't do too much YouTube. You'll either find me here or in someone else's streams or on Discord somewhere. And I will be modding the Golden Gauntlet on Sunday as well. So you will see me there again, probably running around like a chicken with my head cut off again.
He is Nick Duh DA
Duh.
Greek Geek,
Yes.
because he didn't actually say that. So please go check him out on Twitter, which he uses for some unbeknownst reason, and twitch.tv/NickTheGreekGeek. His Twitter is a perfect example of the dichotomy of Nick. He spent so long as both the absolute best Nick in all of Marvel Snap and the absolute worst Nick in all of Marvel Snap. He's both American and Canadian. These things all go hand in hand. It is part of the duality that is Nick. He is my tech guy. My stream exists literally because I am Nick's friend. However, he also makes his computer explode every 5 minutes. We literally have not had a single Discord call ever where one of our audios has not stopped working. It is amazingly consistent from my tech guy. It gives me a lot of confidence that this stream is never going to blow up. But you must follow Nick right now, because in celebration of the great Nick the Greek Geek, he is no longer the worst Nick in Marvel Snap. They have released Nicholas Scratch.
Yay.
So now he is both the best and the second worst Nick in all of Marvel Snap. So you've got to celebrate this momentous occasion and go follow Nick the Greek Geek.
Thank you very much. Schrodinger's Nick. I like that.
Nice. That should be your new name. No more Nick the Greek Geek. You're now Schrodinger's Nick. All right.
Follow him or else.
Yes.
Yeah, or else. Or else Tucker might have to put the baby back in the snap pack. There's a lot of bugs in the game right now.
Nobody puts baby back in the snap pack.
No.
I almost made a very bad joke, and believe it or not, even as half delirious and exhausted I am, I have limits. I'm not going to put it on the podcast. I might say it after the podcast if you'd like me to. All right.
Bit has a very good point. Hold on. Before you get to that point, Bit has a very good point. We forgot about another Nick.
No, I didn't say you were the only Nick.
Oh, okay, fair.
I said you were both the best and the worst Nick.
Oh, fair. So I'm better than Nick Fury. I'll take that. We're good. Okay. Sorry. Continue on with your...
Nick Fury is kind of a trash card, my friend. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's also Parry's Nick. Parry Mod Nick.
Oh, yeah. Nick J.
We don't also, an announcement from Snap Discord. They're to overall and every single person investigating an issue with players being unable to open their seasonal series 4-pack. Anticipate solution by tomorrow, and they'll update with more.
Yeah, they're like, we can figure this out tonight, but let's go to sleep. And with that, we're going to read through a bunch of Patreon names as fast as humanly possible, and then we're all going to go to sleep together. One big pile of sleep, except Nick, who's got a stream, because otherwise he doesn't get a streaming slide.
There you go.
I'm going to say thank you to a whole bunch of patrons as fast as I can. If you'd like to be one of these patrons that speaks as fast as I can, please check out my Patreon. Look, I'm not sleeping. Let's all know that I'm not sleeping. Is my video made for tomorrow? No. Then I'm not fucking sleeping. That is not how my life works. But thank you to Bricks to Click, our patron of the month. Epic Cookies, Mediterranean, Irregardless, LEB, Ink Iron, Frostman, Hotel, Never Think, Booker, Prime, Brian, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Snap, Friend Wrench, Character Lee, Korea, Kazushi, Archangel, 3K, Black Dahlia, Profos, The Code Seeker, Code, Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, Fat Nick, Absolute Jen, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Gravel, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Days of the Business, Black TV's 23, Extra C, and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Bishop Sunset, The King Bros, Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Cassioto, Ludacris, Glam, Colonel Foreman, Rob Simon, David G. Wingfield, Stephen Brett Coffin, Tristan H. Warren, Jason B, Mr. Craig Starry, Matt B, Corey, Corbin, John Q, Jim McHugh, Yes Out, 8 Stage, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Cactus Jack, Reapster, BG, Quid Pro, Yo Marco, Quid Pro Joe, Snapchat Scissors Joe, Dick Carlo, Models Smash Beam, Pickety Boom Bot, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flam 56, The Spectrum, Scoot, Oculars, Matt H, DJ Mike Hedges, No Freaking Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, hey, that's the best and the worst, Toxic Soul King, Zodric 74, The King of Canada, JJ, Deadman Falcon, Father Newman, Jonesy Snap, 2 times, The Great Lornez. Congratulations about this weekend, my friend, the Pirate King, Tucker, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Today's episode is over, because I'm going to be up for another 2 hours, because I just realized I promised 2 videos tomorrow. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.